You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 35. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante, and today's a new day. I mean, Carson Wentz has come out of the woods after having a new baby to speak about the Jalen Hurts draft, as well as what the Eagles did for him in the draft. We also have to cover Alshon Jeffrey, who Eagles insiders actually said will play a major role in the team's offense this season. And we'll also cover more surrounding Carson Wentz. So let's start with Carson right now, actually.
Let's talk about that press conference quick. The first five, 6 questions he got was about Jalen Hurts. The dude just had a baby a few weeks ago. Maybe, ask him, hey, we haven't heard from you since the loss in Seattle in January when you got knocked the hell out of the game. How are you feeling, and is your wife feeling? How's your baby doing? Not, hey, haven't seen you in 4 months. What do you think about the new draft pick, the new quarterback?
What do you think about the new kid in the room?
Follow-up question, how do you think it's going to impact you? Follow-up question, what do you think about it? Follow-up question, are you going to ask for a trade? It's like crap like that. It's people are tired of that. I get they're doing their job and everything, but save that for later. Ask how he's doing, and he admitted he told everybody he had a concussion, scary as ever. People were calling him soft because of it, and he admitted that. Dude got slammed in the head by a 280-pound guy with his helmet. And you're not going to ask him how he's doing. First thing in the press conference, it's pathetic.
I completely agree with that. And the fact that we discussed
Can I just say something? This is the first time in my podcast history that I'm having my wife sit next to me during it. So every time she's grading her papers for her class at school, now every time I say something that she thinks is stupid, she's gonna give me a look, and I'm gonna see it in the corner of my eye. So if you see me look that way, it's because I'm getting, I'm reacting to her giving me a dirty look for whatever.
Now you're getting 2 looks on the podcast.
I don't care about your looks.
I
don't care about you.
Love this. I want you to thank your wife on my behalf. I'm
not telling her. No, I'm not telling her shit. No.
So let's focus on Carson. Carson finally spoke about the Seattle game. He mentioned how severe the actual concussion was and how much of a blow it was to him to not be a part of that game, which it should have been a given from the get. And everybody, of course, overblew it. Local media, fans who are always bitter about Carson getting injured, and the Foles
fans.
Yeah, pretty much that's all it is. Now the Foles fans are probably converting to the Hurts fans, which more power to you. I really don't care, honestly. Carson's the franchise.
Like how pathetic and how miserable of a person can you be to wish harm on Carson Wentz, who's probably the nicest person in the world?
He actually is. Like, dude never says anything.
He doesn't do anything wrong. Second of all, you go from praising Foles, even though, again, he was awful as a starting quarterback when Wentz was gone in the regular season, and he had magical runs in the postseason. Congratulations, he's Trent Dilfer, but better. And again, we love Foles, and we will always love him, but he's not even near the talent of Carson Wentz. And then you see Foles is gone. Excuse me. You say, "Oh, watch Foles going to light it up in Jacksonville." He's in Chicago now.
And what actually happened to him in Jacksonville? I want you to get.
He got hurt again. So however long he's been in the league, I forget how many years he's been in the league. Every single year.
And Lewis too.
Every single year. So he's been in the league 8 years. Not 1 year he's played more than 13 games, let alone 16 games, 13 games. 2012 rookie year with the Eagles, 7. And that's a different story because Vic and everything. 2013, 13 games, and that was his magical 27-2. Then you got 8 games in 2014. Then he shipped for Sam Bradford, 11 games St. Louis, 3 games Kansas City as the backup. Then he comes in 2017. We all know that, 7 games. 3 started. Then 5 games 2018, and we had that magical run and kind of magical run with the double doink. And then last year in Jacksonville, 4 games 0-4. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now he gets to be a starter again because we know Mitch Trubisky is terrible. Shout out to Michael Kist. We know, and he is a big Mitchell Trubisky fan. But it's awful, and it's so then people go from Foles is gone now. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Jalen Hurts now going to go for that. Because I want Carson to fail. If you're legitimately like can't wait for Hurts to come in, you are hoping that our starting quarterback, the franchise quarterback, the quarterback that they gave $130 million to, that has single season records of touchdown passes and passing yards for the Eagles all time. You're rooting for him to fail. That's the bottom line.
One of those Rajas is actually our former franchise quarterback. For some odd, blown reason, Donovan McNabb has taken it up with local media how he was, calling in last year that the Eagles were going to draft somebody to replace Carson, all this nonsense and all this hoopla. Let's be completely honest. That's not happening, man. He's not.
Donovan also posted a tape of Khalil Tate, undrafted free agent who's converted from quarterback to wide receiver for the Eagles.
And he was like, I called it. Like, look at the mechanics here by Khalil Tate, and it's Tate throwing a pass that my grandmother could have had a better spiral and better zip on it than what Tate did. Tate, like, he threw it up like we were playing flag football in 5th grade. And McNabb was like, "Oh, look at this! We'll be working with." Oh, no, now that's why he's a wide receiver now. That's why we have Greg Ward 2.0. And this is no
disrespect to Tate.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it. Tate, don't take that as a diss because we are excited for your speed and your playmaking because you see what Greg Ward did. Mm-hmm. So if you can do what Greg Ward's doing, more power to you. Come on the team. But for McNabb to be like, "Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this," after praising Jalen Hurts and all that stuff, McNabb just wants Wentz to fail because he doesn't want another quarterback taking over for his name in Philly when really we just stopped talking about Nick Foles. Nick Foles took over for McNabb in a lot of people's minds.
Absolutely.
Because Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl and he didn't throw up. Simple as that.
I'll never forget that, man.
Like you talk about performances in the Super Bowl. Terrell Owens had a broken leg. Terrell Owens, broken leg. Most people are done for the week if they stub their toes.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrell Owens broke his leg and came back and put on a show in the Super Bowl. And McNabb puked it all the way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're seeing McNabb in this kind of light, but at the same time, it's kind of like he put himself in this predicament with just mouthing off a little bit too much. But moving away from McNabb, Carson said in the presser that it didn't really concern him that Jalen Hurts was drafted. He knows that this team is for him, and whatever this team needs to do to win, he's all for. He did, sounding very excited about the additional weapons that he has on the outside now with Marquise Goodwin, Jalen Reagor, and Deshaun Jackson now, the trio of speed. I mean, this has to be like – I don't want to put expectations on this season because I really don't want to do this to this team again. But this has to be probably one of the most prolific offenses we're going to see out of Philly in quite some time.
I was looking at let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. I was looking up and I know 40 times aren't everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at, let me see if I have it right here. At the 40 times for every year that Carson has been on I'm going to do this. I'm going to screen share. How about that? And get a little fancy in here. There's a little bit of a eerie feeling on this new wide receiver core that gives us a little bit of 2017 vibes. And we all know what happened in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
We had an MVP caliber year from Mr. Carson Wentz. So here's 2020, and I looked at RES. I'm going to delete all that because there's too many factors in RES where if you don't have a certain test because of the 40 time, like the combine, you don't get an RES score. So we can't really measure it. Okay. Some of these 40 times, and I put stars next to Jeffrey and Ward here. because who knows if they're on the team. So I just put those there. And so some of these times, I think Hollins did not have a 40 time because I don't think he participated in the combine. And no, actually, maybe he did. I think Greg Ward was projected. Some of these were projected. I forget who else was projected.
Okay.
I think Bryce Treggs was a projection. But anyways, so we're looking at 40 times. So here, this year's supporting cast is 4.4175. We take out Ward if he's not on the team to 4.440. 4.4140.
What if you take Alshon out? Does it go to 4.39?
Hold on. My wife is Snapchatting me. Probably to her friend saying, look at my loser husband who's doing a podcast next to me while I grade. Sure.
I actually was going to say, my husband looks really hot in his new.
Actually, did everybody hear that? Let me get the microphone.
Oh my
Get the
God.
microphone. And my wife just said, my husband looks really hot in his hat and his podcasting.
It's Flipping the Birds After Dark, folks.
It's thanks, babe.
I'm unfortunately witnessing this right now. Can we focus on numbers?
And speaking of After Dark, let's go back to Manscaped, huh? We'll talk about that later. Well, anyways, before my wife was talking about my good looks. So we don't know if Ward's going to be. Let's say Jeffrey's out. That's still 4.408. But now here's the thing here. Rager at the combine, 4.47. We all know he was yoked out of his mind.
Yeah, he was about 10 pounds, 10 to 15 pounds.
And people were saying he ran 4.27, ran 4.22 at his pro day. Who knows? I like to say he ran like a 4.3-ish.
Okay.
So let's say he ran a 4.3. That drops our time down to a 4.396. And the 4.3s, that's the speed that this team has right now. So we look at 2019. Really only the 5 wide receivers to give a damn until we had the practice wide receivers later on. 4.45. Fastest on the team, Djax, but didn't have him that long.
Yeah.
2018 now. Jeffrey, Aguilar, Mike Wallace, who we had for a minute.
Literally a minute, because he only played one game, right?
I think he got hurt after a game. During that game, I believe. Mac Hollins, Marcus Wheaton, who I completely forgot about, and Greg Ward. That brings it to a 4.45, which is pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to 2017. Kyle Sean, Torrey Smith, Aguilar, Hollins, Bryce Treggs, and Marcus Johnson, who was traded for Michael Bennett.
Who's currently a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Michael Bennett's still a free agent.
No, Marcus Johnson, unless he ended up with the Colts.
Where's Michael Bennett?
I think Michael Bennett is definitely a free agent still.
Is he still? Michael Bennett is a free agent still, correct? I wouldn't be opposed to bring him in again. So anyways. So that went down to 4.415. And that's very similar to the 4.4175 that we have here. And then 2016, his first year, Huff, Aguilar, Matthews, DGB, who broke my heart, and Marcus Johnson, 4.446. So we're looking at this speed that we have here. Look at this speed. Oh, what am I doing? Look at this speed. It's incredible.
It's very incredible. And then we also have the size as well. I mean, we still got J.J., we still got Jeffrey.
So
not far off.
I mean, it's like Quez. Look at that speed Quez has. And then we got track star Marquise Goodwin, who's now number 13 to give us to rid the bad vibes of the previous number 13.
To right the wrongs of Josh Huff, Nelson Aguilar.
We've had ghost of number 13. Really the last I want to see how bad the number 13 has been for the Eagles. Because I feel like if it's Huff and Aguilar, it hasn't been.
Who was it? Who could it have been before that? I don't remember anybody went 13 before that.
I'll tell you right now. So we got number 13. Not many people. Nelson Aguilar. Before that, Josh Huff.
Okay.
Before that, Damaris Johnson. Before that, Rick Engels, So you got to go real back. Chuck Hughes, Joe Hogue, Len Barnum, Dave Smuckler, and George Keneally. Those are the only 13s in franchise history.
So it's on Goodwin to do
To
good.
make it good and win.
I'm completely behind that because I was thinking about doing the same thing with that. So I completely respect what you just did.
So for those of you that did not hear our pun, especially for my wife, it's on Goodwin to make it good and win in that number.
You're gonna end up sleeping on the couch tonight. I have a bad feeling.
I'm not sleeping on any couch. She knows what's good for her.
So moving on from the speed, Carson sounds like he's in a great mind place. He just entered fatherhood. He's entering a season where he has all the weapons in the world. He's coming to more weapons on the outside. He's coming in with great weapons on the inside with his tight ends, a full running back field, which they revamped by bringing back Corey Clement. It
I
sounds
like that move. I still hope they bring in another back, a bigger back. Corey Clement, when he's healthy, he's really very good. But that's when he's healthy.
Michael Warren move.
I like the Warren move, but again, it's another. Like, how many times are we gonna do running back 3 from undrafted free agent?
If it's working,
Corey Clement.
keep going.
I mean, I know he's Super Bowl hero, Corey Clement. LeGarrette Blount wasn't drafted, so we have just a history of just grabbing backs that weren't drafted and making it work. But so you got Adrian Killens too, who's the size of my daughter, but he's quick as ever. I think he's like 150 some pounds, 160 pounds.
He's light, but he's quick.
I haven't been 160 pounds since I was like 8th grade.
I'm actually almost there. I think I'm at 180 right now. Last time I weighed myself last week.
You gotta eat.
I do eat. I don't know why I'm losing weight in this quarantine when I'm sitting my butt down all day taking phone calls and eating. So I don't know what's going on.
I'm not even gonna talk about me, but don't look at me. Talking about weight.
Anyways, so you mentioned Super Bowl hero before. Dave Spadero, actually from the Eagles Insider, came out today speaking about Alshon Jeffrey and how he's going to be a major part of the offense heading into 2020. He even reiterated how Alshon's performance against Miami, which I think he had like 8 or 9 receptions for 140 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, who? I wasn't paying attention to you.
Oh, wow. That kind of hurts my feelings. I put a lot of energy in Alshon right now, okay?
It sounds like a lot of energy in your voice right now. Yeah, definitely.
I need you to give me the same respect that Josina gives Alshon, okay?
Oh, that's a different kind of respect.
So how are you feeling about Alshon Jeffrey staying with the team and being a major part with all the wide receivers we have in the room now? So that means one of the young guys are not going to be a part of the system pretty much.
I think that would end up being Quez. Being relegated to the practice squad, if anything.
Stolen off the practice squad.
What?
They'll steal him off the practice squad.
Yeah, like that's the thing with this wide receiver core. I think that like people like Quez and Hightower, they lasted so long for whatever reason that if they are on the practice squad, other teams are going to really snatch them off.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when other teams suffer injuries. I don't know. See, the thing is, I don't know how likely that is in one part because of everything that's going on in the world. Like, who knows if the season will even start on time?
That's true.
So if it's not started on time, and it's so many restrictions when it does start, does a team risk using? I don't know if they use a move, to sign someone off a practice squad, but you bring them in, how long is it going to take for that person to learn the playbook with all these restrictions?
That's
with Quez and Hightower, all these rookies are going to be with the Eagles from now until however long, at least until August. They have 4 months to learn the playbook for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with another team that steals them off, they're going to need like a few weeks. So I think that's a little bit of a good sign for the Eagles, even though I would hate to see this season start later than what it is. Even I think that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. But like, this is a really talented wide receiver core. I don't know if they have any more I don't know if Ward is able to go to the practice squad anymore. I know there's a limit on how many times you get called up and called back down.
Mm-hmm.
I know that doesn't really seem the case on how many times he was called up, like Bruce Hector, and sent him down,
Yeah.
or who was the other guy that they kept Najee Good? How many times they called up Najee Good and sent him back down, and called him back up and sent him back down? But I don't think Greg Ward's going to be on the team, which just sucks because I got his jersey. But
it's mind blowing to me if you keep Alshon on the team right now because you have.
Well, Alshon's going to be on the pup list.
Yeah,
100% to start. So that opens up a roster spot there. I think that they end up keeping 6 while Alshon's on the pup. So that's Djax, that's J-Jaw, that's Rager, that's Hightower, that's Watkins, and Goodwin.
It's pretty much all the right ones.
Unless Ward does something in preseason that, but again, Ward is such a great story. But people want to say, we don't need slot, blah, blah, blah. Great, that's Greg Ward.
But the thing about slot as well is that Marquise Goodwin can also bring speed.
Yeah. So let's say Goodwin outshines everyone and starts across from Djax. So you got Djax, you got 4.3 speed on one side, 4.2 speed on the other side, and you have Rager in the slot. Then you got J-Jaw coming in. You got Hightower to spell Djax or Goodwin. Watkins to spell Djax or Goodwin. Where's Ward going to play? Because J-Jaw is an outside receiver, he's not a slot receiver.
I really hope they use J-Jaw on the outside and stop the whole training the multiple positions crap. Because the kid is an outside receiver. He has a height for it and everything. Just use him for what he's great at.
And if you want to use him as baby Alshon, put him on the outside. That's what you do with Alshon. I don't think Ward has a future on this team, especially like back in January. I said that they should have used Greg Ward to take some hill roll.
Which would have made sense.
But now we got Jalen Hurts. So there's really no room for Greg Ward. And again, we said this last week. We saw how Marquise Goodwin's wife reacted to when she said
he was a no-name kind of guy.
So when she said, "Oh, who's 84?" Oh,
84 was definitely our number one wide receiver for some points last season.
Yeah. So it's sad, but that's the thing. And then when Alshon comes back, who knows if he comes back a little early? I think pup list is 6 weeks, or 7. I don't remember.
But you got to practice for 1 week or so before you come in.
So who knows if by that time he's able to come off and be traded? I mean, the Colts make sense.
You mentioned the Miami Dolphins in the article. Maybe they're trading him to Miami.
maybe Miami. Maybe Tua needs someone. Tua, by the way, props to him. You see his new number?
No, what's the number?
He picked the number 1 on the Dolphins. Like that's a bold move.
Yeah,
to wear number 1 for the Dolphins.
Let's see how he does out there. I'm still not a believer in a franchise.
That's a ballsy move. That's a very, very ballsy move. Speaking of ballsy moves,
here we go.
I like that segue.
I did actually.
That's a good segue. Did you like it? She's not listening to me.
I'm grading essays.
She's grading essays. Sorry. So speaking of ballsy moves, as everybody knows, we are proudly sponsored by Manscaped. And listen, think of yourselves right now. Men, how many times, and I know it's me, we are so different between females in the respect that females need a body wash that is like coconut, that's like cocoa butter and all this stuff, for their bodies, and they need the hair, the shampoo with the keratin in it, and the things, and this and that, and all that, and then I need the conditioner for all this stuff, and it takes them forever to wash their hairs. For us, at least for me, I take a body wash and I'm scrubbing everything with it, and I'm good to go. I'm clean. So if that's you, the crop cleanser is for you. I mean, it even says that hair and body wash right there. There's been times where, especially in college, where I just took a bar soap and I scrubbed everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just I've never been the one to be like, oh, I need conditioner and this for this. What am I doing with this up here? You know, and you've seen Brian's cue ball up there, so
Everything, yeah.
it's the only really thing that I've ever used really is maybe beard stuff, but for me, for my whole you need something to make it efficient. And here's Manscaped's crop cleanser right here. It's very efficient. You smack some on your hand or your loofah. I like using loofahs. On your loofah, and you're good to go. Your head, your body, your balls, your feet, your toes, everything. So really, Manscaped, we got a lot of people feedback saying, I never heard of Manscaped before. It's very popular. And they're happy with their purchase, especially my dad.
Let's not go over that again. Just focus at the task at hand. Manscaped.com.
Manscaped.com. Yes, use FTB at checkout, 20% off. If you don't believe us, here, add to cart. Right now, I'll show you. Here's Lawnmower 3.0. It's great, but we're not gonna go. It's awesome. Check out right now. I gotta move my zoom. Yeah, check out. Promo code FTB. Okay. Oh, I gotta put my email address in first. Hold on. Everybody, here's my email address. There we go. There we go.
20% off.
20% off. There you go. FTB at checkout. 20% off. Free shipping. You see that? There's no shipping there. It's free. So go there. 20% off. Free shipping. And that's that.
Manscaped.com, 20% off if you use code FTB. Now, before we get into our next segue, I want to revert back to the wide receivers, and I want to ask you an honest question. J.J. Whiteside came out speaking to Spanish reporters, and the description he gave about his experience last season, where he didn't know where to line up. He was so badly injured that he needed help to walk to the bathroom last season. Are you surprised that, one, he's been quiet all season? I've actually just checked his Instagram the other day, and I didn't see anything. It kind of blew my mind, and I didn't know where this news came out. Are you surprised that he's saying all this to the media?
I think he's injured. I definitely think he was injured last year.
No, but I mean, like, to that degree, like.
But I mean, how many players on the Eagles last year that we think just sprained a toe and ended up being almost amputated?
Yeah,
because of the whole injury situation. Like, who knows how bad injuries were for the whole team. I kind of believe that because, you don't, especially such a coaching staff, especially Doug Peterson, who's always like day to day, and that really meant week to week, and week to week meant month to month, and month to month meant they're out for the career.
Yeah. So
it was such a shady situation with all those injury reports. But I think that really, I wish they would just came out and said that during the season instead of saying, "Oh, he's cross training at 3 different positions without," because especially in the beginning of the year when they said with Alshon on the field, it's going to be hard for JJ to come out here. So then why draft him in the second round? And I know that argument can be said for Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
It's a completely different scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just keep going about this. So you don't. So, but then later on, when Alshon's hurt, JJ's still not out there, and then it's like, oh, he's cross training all these positions. So if he was supposed to be out there when Alshon's not out there, just say he's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being all these damn excuses for him.
And the weird thing is that they kept him active while he's so badly injured.
Right. So like why
with 2 receivers at some point.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. I think both Doug and Howie like to talk too much. Especially Howie with the Jalen Hurts pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like Howie just needed to shut up.
Yeah.
How many times he was defending that thing and saying this and that, and people were just like, just say you picked him, and that's it. Stop defending the pick. The more you defend the pick, the more people are going to say, well, he really must have think that he did a mistake if you're going to be defending it this much. Just say you picked him. That's it. JJ, he's cross-training here. He's this, that. Shut up. Just say that he's hurt and that once he's healthy, he'll be back on the field. It's
Correct.
simple. But I think he's speaking up now because he sees all the smoke around all the new receivers. So maybe now he's making people think, because maybe he looks at social media and how many people bash him. And people bash him.
He's been very quiet though. Like him and Dillard have been to themselves.
Dillard, it's a different story. We've been on Dillard before a few weeks ago with Trey Thomas. But that's a different story. But I don't know, JJ, I think he's a quiet kid anyway. Maybe he's been hanging out in Spain this whole quarantine.
That's true.
Can't really get in touch with him because he's in Spain. I think he's starting to speak up because he sees all the commotion around the picks and the trade and I mean the Eagles after taking him in the second round last year, they spent 3 picks in the draft on wide receivers and traded for a 4th.
That's true.
So I think he's probably trying to talk himself into a job. Or talk himself to the good graces of the fans. Who knows? But maybe he's another one who really can't hang in Philly.
That's gonna be a very interesting story to kind of pay attention to. And before we get to our next segment, guys, if you're listening right now, if you're on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and leave us a nice comment. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, whatever case may be, leave us a good review.
Yeah, Apple, like we I think that's what is episode 36, 30 something? 35. And we only have 15 ratings on Apple. Come on.
And only one actual commenting review.
Yeah, one comment. Come on.
We can take it. If it's bad, we got tough skin. I mean,
if it's bad, I delete it. That's all.
Yeah.
So we just edit the ratings and that's all.
Let's focus on the next task. You wanted to speak about what was having really surrounded Wentz with. I guess you.
Well, my thing is, the last few weeks we've been talking about offensive tackles, especially Dillard. And we talk with Trey Thomas and all that stuff, and we got 2 good ones with Jack Driscoll and Prince Tego. I can't pronounce his last name. And by the way, this didn't really get that much. This didn't get this much attention as much as I wanted today. I said on Twitter today, if the Eagles sign Prince Amukamara, they should get the Spin Doctors to sing the national anthem. And that is because we would have 2 princes on the roster. Their hit song is 2 Princes, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, so my thing is, thinking of all the offensive line stuff and everything, I dug into what our best offensive tackle is meant to the Eagles, and that is Mr. Lane Johnson. Now, Lane Johnson was drafted in 2013. He's missed some games. He's missed 20 games total for the Eagles. Some injuries, some suspension, but he's missed 16 with Wentz. And so just how great Johnson has been for the Eagles, it's crazy. It's with when the Eagles drafted him since 2013, they drafted him obviously in the 4th overall. I'd say it's well worth it. Since 2013, the Eagles are 65-47. With Lane in the lineup, they're 56-36.
That's wild.
So that means they're 9-11 without him. With Wentz, he has 40 games with Lane Johnson. In those 40 games, he has 28 fumbles. Sounds like a lot, but that's only an average of 0.7 per game. And then he has a record of 26-14. In those games with Lane, he has 82 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. That's averaging 2.05 touchdowns and 0.575 interceptions per game. With Lane Johnson out of the lineup, we're talking about 16 games now, he has 20 fumbles, averaging 1.25 per game. His record is 6-10. And then also, He has 15 touchdowns and 12 interceptions in those 16 games, average of 9.375 touchdowns and 0.75 interceptions per game. Lane Johnson is his MVP. Like we want to talk about all this stuff about wide receivers and this and that, and Ertz and Goddard. Without Lane Johnson, that offense doesn't really go. And we saw that back in 2013 when he was out. That running game was gone.
Yeah,
like, it was completely gone. And Shady couldn't do anything. He couldn't do absolutely anything. It wasn't 2013, 2014, where Shady just couldn't get anything going. And it was the first 4 games of the season. It's just Lane Johnson, like we want to put all this talk and skill players and surrounding Wentz with skill players is obviously important.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just insane. And I also went down. I went through each fumble for Wentz, every single one of them, 48 of them. And I know it's bad, but he's and I know we say he's fumbled 20 times in the 16 games that he hasn't had Lane Johnson, but in the 16 games that he's played without Lane, he's only fumbled in 10 of those, and 5 of them were because of Lane Johnson's replacement. Two were on Big V. One was on Matt Tobin, and Matt Tobin got worked on that one. Matt Tobin it was Ryan Kerrigan on the Redskins game, and Ryan Kerrigan blew him up. And 2 of them were the Andre Dillard experiment at Seattle.
Which was a bad idea to begin with.
Which was a bad idea because
Dillard. What gets on my nerves about that idea is after the game, Jason Peters came out and said, "Yeah, I could have played right tackle if they asked me to."
Yeah. Oh,
bro, really? You're the vet.
Dillard got blown up. Like the first, when I looked at that clip, I was like, "Oh, Dillard was on his back." That was rough. And then the second one that Dillard had, he was pushed right into Wentz. That was rough. So that's why I'm like what maybe the other 15 fumbles were when Lane Johnson was out, they had better protection obviously, but it's just maybe it was either bad snap. 11 of his fumbles that I saw were bad snaps. So we got to look at each one. I know the stats. If you take out those 11 fumbles, because it's rough to say a bad snap is on the quarterback. Kelsey, we love him, absolutely love him, but it's if it hits the ground, if it's over his head and he can't get it, that's on him. That's on Wentz.
Absolutely.
So why? It's if we take out those 11 fumbles, he is down to 37, which would put him under Russell Wilson. It will be James since 2016. Wentz is number 1, 48. Next is Jameis Winston, then Kirk Cousins with 41, Russell Wilson with 40, then Jared Goff with 35. Derek Carr with 32, Dak Prescott with 31. So if you take out those 11 bad snaps, that's 37. So he's just under Russell Wilson, just above Jared Goff for 4th place. So that's just rough, and a few others. He had 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 4 bad handoffs. So it was either to Sproles or to Blount. They were bad handoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones were just bad. But there were only maybe 5 or 6 that I really put on Wentz for either holding the ball too long or he just didn't protect it when he scrambled. Like the one against Seattle. Which one was it? Where he was diving towards the end zone. Yes, it was against Seattle in 2018. He was diving towards the end zone, 2017, and he was stripped. So it's on Wentz. It definitely is, but A lot of it's wrong. But you can't fix that without a good offensive line. That really starts with Lane Johnson.
Right.
Like with those stats that we just put out there for you, this offense doesn't go without Lane Johnson. And he's been the best in my mind, in everybody's mind. He's been the best right tackle in the NFL for a very long time. And by the way, in 3 days he turns 30. So happy birthday, Lane.
Lane Johnson's not even 30 years old yet?
No, we're older than him.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
It sucks.
That definitely sucks. You definitely just put
His birthday is 1990.
Wow. Guy looks like he's older than me.
He just put up a Instagram a couple days ago of him just deadlifting like 600-something pounds.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was like 660.
Like it's like when I was in college, I threw shot put in college, and all of us had a deadlifting competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only asshole who tried 500. We were like, all right. Everybody else was like, oh, we're stopping at 495. We could tie it. So no. I threw 2.5 plates on each side, extra 5 pounds, 500. Deadlift. I went up and I just used my whole back, no legs. And if you're familiar with weightlifting, just me saying that is giving you the face that Brian has right now. Like I immediately threw it down to the ground. I had very, very sharp pains, and I still live with that pain today. It's a struggle.
Sorry to hear that, man.
It's a struggle.
I'm here for you, though, okay? I need you to know I'm here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, guys, once again, please, if you're wherever you're listening to us, rate us, review us, comment. It could be bad or good. We have tough skin. If it's bad, we'll just send Chris to your house.
Like, look at the reach that we have. All right, our last podcast. Again, thank you to everyone because it went over 2,000 views.
Me and Chris were going wild.
Like we were ecstatic that our previous podcast before had like 900. No, just over 1,000.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, we're never gonna beat that. And last week
was like a draft fever kind of thing.
Yeah, last week was 2,000. So we expect that again, first of all. So if you don't think we're gonna get that, just press refresh on your YouTube over and over and over for a few hours. Maybe 20, 30 of those views were me just checking. But last week we saw some comments from Cowboys fans on there. Like they were like, commenting on our crap. So even Cowboys fans are even watching us. So
you're listening to us. We're very grateful, and definitely stay tuned. We have a lot of big things on the horizon. This week's pod was just a breathing pod for me and Chris.
Yeah, we've had too many guests on the last few weeks. Yeah. Brian just wanted me to himself for tonight. Just for tonight, but Breeze, your wife is actually interfering right now because she's staring right at you, isn't she? No. Oh, okay. She doesn't want me to talk to her right now. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit like. Don't forget to hit you love it, thumbs up, 5 stars, whatever it takes. And don't forget, manscaped.com. Use code FTB to receive 20% off. And do you have free shipping? Free shipping. That is you don't have to pay for shipping. And it comes pretty quickly. Like I know, like there's all this Amazon. I know we've had issues with Amazon and how long it's taken them to ship our crap, and it's been a lot of stuff. They've been pretty good with their shipping. So if you really need to shave your balls, do so. You won't have to wait that long. It takes a few days. That's it. I just paid $12 to have my wife's Mother's Day gift expedited. So yeah, free shipping is very key, guys. And shame on you to the companies that are not offering free shipping. Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah. But until next week, guys, thank you for joining us. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. And go Birds. Yes, sir.